Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of our Only Fins series. Today we're going to go and talk about the star, my first fish for this tank, which is Scar. Scar is a chocolate tang, also known as a mimic tang. The scientific name for them is an Encanthrus pyroferus. So they are a surgeon fish, or a tang as another word for them. Scar got his name from, just to cover bases, every fish, I also have my nice new shirt on. It's all Euphyllia coral, because they're my favorite, and it says you feeling it. I think it's cool. I got it from Bulk Reef Supply. I'm literally always looking for cool little shirts like this to wear. But so every fish in the tank is named after a Disney character from a movie, a show, whichever. Scar is named after, obviously, Scar from The Lion King. He got his name from when we first got him, and we've had him for a little over a year now. He got his name because he had this scar on the side of his body, either from, rubbing up a rock or rubbing up against a rock or something. And we thought it was going to be permanent, so Scar worked perfectly. He had a scar. Awesome. And oddly enough, with good diet and everything, he healed. If you've watched enough video of him, he doesn't have any marks on the side of his body anymore, which is perfect. So chocolate tangs, we'll just use their given name because I'm not great at pronouncing Encanthrus pyroferus. So we'll just stick with chocolate tang. Geographically, they're from the Indo-Pacific, primarily in like shallow lagoons, coastal reef shelves, anywhere from 14 feet in depth to 141 feet in depth, give or take. Color-wise, juveniles, they are yellow, some yellow coloration. They don't look anything like their adult coloration at all. And they mimic the size and the color and behavior of a lot of different kinds of dwarf angelfish. I'll post a little picture of one of their colorations of one of the angelfish that they mimic. There's a couple different ones. I'm just going to show the one, but primarily they're looking like that with some other different color in them to mimic that specific angelfish that they're around. Once they reach adulthood, they have a very similar body, face, and shape and size to others in their same species, the Encanthrus species. And we'll go over why that's important in a minute here. They max out at 9.8 inches long, so just shy of a foot, or about 2 meters. No, not 2 meters, not even a meter, not even a third of a meter, actually. So they are a smaller of the tang species, which does make them easier to keep because they are a smaller one. They don't outgrow the tank that they're in all that fast. Coloration is a dark brown, almost like a milk chocolate color, to purplish black on their body. They have a broad, dark band that starts at the top of their gill opening and wraps down below their chin. And you'll see that on Scar. He does have that. My favorite part on him with their coloration specifically is they have this broad yellow band at the base of their caudal fin, which is their tail fin. And their tail fin kind of starts to arch like this kind of a shape at their tail, and kind of have like little points at the top and bottom. And that's the yellow part, and it's this bright, vibrant yellow, and I love, I really like that. So they're pretty easy to spot out because they have that distinct coloration and shape. Sex-wise, there's no known way to visually ID a difference between a male and a female chocolate tang. So is Scar a male? Who knows? Unlike a decent number of other fish, there are some visual ways that you can tell them apart. With the chocolate tangs, there is not. Habitat-wise, for the home, they need a larger tank. They need plenty of swimming space because that's what they do in their natural habitat. Surgeon fish require plenty of aeration, so we achieve that with a lot of water flow in the tank, right? So if you look, there's constant water movement at the top, especially at the surface of the tank. Okay? And that allows gas exchange between the air around and the aeration, the water, the gases that are in the water in the tank. If the flow is strong enough, you may even see them just swimming and enjoying the flow and letting that hard flow and push across their gills that they have. You know, and because they live in that coastal tidal area, they do have very strong flow in that area. So chocolate tangs have not been successfully reproduced in captivity, so they all are wild caught. And you'll see them just enjoying that hard flow every now and then, where they just love swimming in it. Housing, they need plenty of crevices or cracks in the rockwork or the coral, and that's where they can retreat to and hide if they get scared, or to sleep in. Scar actually dug out a spot in the alcove that I made in the rock work over there. He felt that he wanted it to be a little more dug out and secluded for him, and there was a crack in a gap in the rock farther down on the structure that he wanted to be able to fit out, and he couldn't do it with the sand where it was. So he used his fins and rushed his fins around and his body around to make him fit. So now he and Gil fit in and out the back of that alcove, which I did not intend them to be able to do. But they decided that that was what they wanted to be comfortable, so that's what they did. He gets along with pretty much everything in the tank. He's pretty peaceful. He and Gil did have a little bit of an disagreement phase when when Gil was first added, which is common for other tangs and surgeon fish. They have a pecking order, and it has to be determined of who's in charge and whatnot. And Scar is definitely the one that is in charge of this tank. Diet for them, they're continuous feeders, so you'll see Scar just picking at the rockwork throughout the day, even picking at some algae that may be growing on the sand or on some of the coral. In the wild, they literally graze all day, and they depend very heavily on a proper diet. They need plenty of plant matter offered to them, and nutritional disorders are very likely in all surgeon fish. So that like lateral line disease, some reference it as HELLE, or head and lateral line disorder, or lateral line erosion, LLE. It's all the same kind of idea, and I'll post a couple of the pictures up here as well, so that you can kind of see what it looks like. It's a very serious disorder. It can be from poor water quality or from a nutritional deficiency. So that's why I always make sure that they actually have some right now. They always get their algae. They get a half a sheet of nori every day. If not, at the very least, they get it every other day, along with whatever they decide to pick off the rock. HLLE or LLD or LLE, we'll just call it LLD, lateral line disease. We'll just stick with that term because it's the least number of letters. It's rarely fatal, but it does leave horrible scarring and maiming to the fish. So it's important that you do whatever you can to keep everything in check. Make sure that the nutrients don't get too high in the tank, nitrate and phosphate. There's some theory that high ranges of that could cause it. Poor grade carbon in your filter is also theorized to cause it, along with nutritional deficiency. They also do need a supplement of some meaty foods. I achieve that with LRS, Reef Frenzy. It has a wide range of shrimp and other meaty foods from, obviously, the ocean. And there's also some nori in it itself, so that they get a wide range of nutrients. I've even seen some people say that they've had success with getting them to eat pre-boiled, or like the frozen steamed broccoli, zucchini, leaf lettuce. I haven't tried it yet. I'll probably try it once, probably with broccoli. Yeah, maybe broccoli, because that's probably my least favorite. So yeah, they can have broccoli. Even some spinach. I may try spinach. If you don't have the ability to get like a higher, like vitamin enriched food for them, if all you can get is flakes, or all you can get are pellets, which they do get pellets too. They get Neptune's crossover diet occasionally as well. So yesterday, Tuesday, they got that at like noon or 1 p.m. just because I wasn't home to give them what their normal daily routine is. There are vitamin supplements that you can add to whatever food you're giving, even if you just want to boost the food that you're already giving them. If you are giving them like rods or Larry's Reef service, for the frozen food, you can enrich that with a vitamin supplement like Celcon, Coral V, which is made by Aquaforest, Vitality, which is made by Seachem, Vitamarin M or C, which is Brightwell Aquatics brand. All of these are readily available and are perfectly acceptable. Some of them even contain additional amino acids to help with maintaining their coloration and whatnot. I'm trying to fix my shirt so it doesn't crumple up. Health-wise, as I said before, poor diet can lead to the color loss, or worse, LLD. Okay. You'll see it's literally just goes down their lateral line and affects the side of their heads very bad. Overall, chocolate tangs specifically have a pretty decent immune system, so they do fight off ick or any other kind of infection pretty well. They are pretty strong fish. Even more so if you feed them and you give them a proper diet as well. Right? You are what you eat, or if you put crap in, you're going to get crap out too, right? So if you feed them crap food, they're going to inherently not be the healthiest. You're going to get crap out of them. I mean, you're going to get crap out of them either way. That's why the skimmer smells the way it does. Oof. As with all surgeon fish, they have a very, very minor and slim slime coat. So if I were to touch, if Scar were to let me touch him, which will probably never happen, but if he were, he would feel almost slimy, right? They don't have scales, they have skin that covers them, and that makes them more susceptible to marine ick and marine velvet, which are external parasites that kind of burrow their way in, reproduce, and then come back out and drop out as cysts. They open up, they go back, and they attack the fish again. Marine ick, in theory, as long as you have a decent diet, can be fought off by the fish if they're healthy. Marine velvet is just a brutal killer and just murders things. It just kills. That's what killed. I theorize that's what killed everything in the last tank that I had, the little 34-gallon bow front. I introduced a fish because it was in distress, and I did what I shouldn't have done, and I put it in the tank, and everything else got sick, and then there was an ammonia spike, and literally just everything died. Just all of it. Probably $1,000 in livestock, if not more. So because of that, every surgeon fish should be quarantined and treated regardless, right? Unless you get them from a reputable place that is going to do that for you. Now you're going to pay a premium for that fish. So at the end of the day, it's really a cost versus work analysis that you're going to have to do yourself to determine whether you want to do that work, that added work, to ensure that your tank is healthy, or if you want to pay somebody else the extra money to ensure that they do that for you. Scar overall, he's probably my favorite. He does have a very nice and interesting personality, which is what I wanted to talk about too. Is each fish has its own personality. So everything that I just went over on here, right? All of this is all open for interpretation between individual fish. I could get another Chocolate Tang, and it could be completely different personality from him. Scar likes to come over and greet you, especially Rachel, when you come over to the tank. He'll show us his fins. We call it big fins. They're much more, I don't know, interactive than freshwater fish. These actually clearly recognize you and who you are, and try to interact with you. Scar will come over and see Rachel. He'll show like he'll splay out his dorsal and pectoral fins, and you can clearly tell if he's in a good or a bad mood that day. If he's just swimming around and he's just showing off his fins, he's in a great mood. But if he's like throwing his fins out to project them out, that's clear. That's a sign that he's agitated. He doesn't appreciate what's going on. The one day I had my hand in the tank and I was working on something. I think I was gonna clean, and he was not having it. He put his fins out all the way. He made himself look really big, right? Because that's what they do that for. When they're agitated or angry. They're trying to make themselves look as large as they can to scare you off, or whatever it is to, like when Gil went in the tank, they were both making themselves look as large as they could to the other one to try and get the other one to back down. Eventually, Gil backed down because Scar was just more pushy than Gil. But I had my hand in the tank, and Scar put his fins out and was like posturing at my hand. So I don't know what he thought I was doing, and he charged at my hand and tried to bite me. So I just yanked my hand out really quick, and I didn't do anything for the rest of that day because he was not in the mood to be played with. But I think that's all I have for him. Otherwise, I just really enjoy watching him just swim around. He's got beautiful colors. I'm not going to show you picture and video of him in this light because his colors don't look great. This is just when I was pre-recording the informational portion of it. But he's very graceful as he swims around the tank. He has been messing with the clownfish more, but the clowns are starting to realize that they're damselfish and they're supposed to be assholes, and are starting to bite him back. So hopefully that will work itself out as well. He's back to not being cranky today as well, because the starfish moved out of his and Gil's little archway that they like to crawl through. All right. That's everything I have for our first episode of Only Fins, featuring Scar the Chocolate Tang. If you have any questions, please comment below, or we may do a live stream after this video premieres. And if you have any questions, you can stick around for that. Otherwise, just comment. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really, really does help the channel out a lot to get recommended to more people, and to really just help it grow and let people see more videos of what we're doing. The YouTube algorithm, if you like and comment and subscribe, it counts as like triple-E, and they suggest it to even more people then. So don't forget to do all that, please. Otherwise, we'll see you later for the live stream, and maybe I'll even do an extra video of the reef chart today. If not, the live stream might just be the reef chart episode for the day. Okay? Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.